Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's see the MRP, Material Requirement Planning. This is normally if I go to Siemens or SAP labs for giving training over there, I take this one first before even purchasing. Okay, that's how they what you call the syllabus was designed. But to understand this one, you have to understand purchasing and inventory. So therefore, I always takes this one after inventory management and the special procurement. Okay, so let's try to understand what is consumption based planning or MRP, how does it works, what are the elements involved in here, what is the input, what is the output. Okay, as you know, MRP stands for Material Requirement Planning. It determines what material is required and for how much quantity and when does it require. That's the basic purpose or the task of MRP. Okay, so the central task of MRP is to determine which material is required for how much quantity and on which date. So as MRP is executed at the plant level, MRP must be activated for each plant in customizing. Okay, so this we will discuss when we go with configurations. What you have to understand is at what level MRP will be carried out. Normally, MRP is carried out at plant level, but in case if you require, you can also execute at storage location level, or assume it if you have some 5 storage locations in a particular plant, you can exclude some storage locations and run MRP. So all these things are possible, but normally MRP is carried out at plant level. Okay. For that you need to activate the MRP, that is what we call it as MRP area. Consumption based MRP determines if and when more material should be procured or produced. This type of MRP is focused on the MM module. Two types of MRPs are possible. What we call it as reorder point planning or stochastic planning. Okay, so let me put it over here. If I have to say MRP is of 3 types. Okay, Control Z. Okay, there is something called MPS, Master Production Scheduling. Okay, there is also one more thing called CBP. And the third one is called stochastic, yeah, forecast based MRP. Okay, and one more thing, there is something called deterministic MRP also. Right? So this was mainly focused on PP. Okay, so your MPS, what we call it as Master Production Schedule, this is mainly focused on PP module. That means what? All the production critical materials are planned under the planning type called MPS. CBP and MRP, or what we call stochastic MRP, both of these are MM focused. Okay, so right, and this works on the basis of consumption of the past material. I would say works on the basis of past consumption history. Okay, whereas deterministic MRP, I would say, works on the basis of future demand. Let's a moment. Okay, so the two types of MRPs that we work with in MM module is stochastic and reorder point planning. Okay, these are actually part of consumption-based planning, whereas deterministic MRP, which is based on the future sales quantities that exist in the form of planned independent requirements, sales orders, reservations, etc. This type of MRP is mainly focused in PP module. Okay, so even this one also is focused in PP module. Okay, so I would say this is also PP focused. Okay. I'll just have to slightly modify this. Just give me a moment. Right, so both of this, I would say this is called ROP, reorder point planning, and these two are together called, or they are of type CBP, consumption based planning. Okay. So I would say this one, this is 3. Okay, so I would say this is A and this is B. So this is how it should work. Okay, so broadly the MRP is classified into 3 areas. One is MPS, second one is CBP, third one is deterministic MRP. MPS is focused in PP. MPS and deterministic MRP both are focused in PP module, whereas CBP is focused in MM module. CBP works on the basis of consumption of the material. Okay, so even the stochastic or forecast based also, this is works on the basis of consumption only. Okay, so consumption based MRP within the supply chain, how it works. Let's have a look at this. As you could see here, the input for the MRP is coming from the forecasting. Hi Radhika, we have just started the MRP.
Okay, sir, not a problem. Good morning.
Very good morning. Okay, the inputs for the MRP, material requirement planning, will come from the forecasting. How much material do I require and for what purpose? What is the source of origin for this requirement? All these things are coming from the forecasting, and that's the input for MRP. MRP takes input from the forecasting. When it is executed, it gives an output. That output is nothing but input for the purchasing module. Okay, as you could see here, MRP is taking data from the forecasting and then it gives data to the production, in-house production or purchasing external procurement. So therefore, the output of MRP is used as an input for the purchasing module. Okay, the next thing is how does MRP works. You need to understand how does MRP works. What is MRP? What is the central task of MRP that we have discussed? It's nothing but which material is required for how much quantity and on which date. Okay, so if it has to determine which material is required, for how much quantity and on which date, so there should be some logic or some basis behind determining the quantities. Okay, for example, I'll just give you one generic example. Assume it you are constructing a house. Okay, average consumption per day, average cement consumption per day is 10 bags. Okay, so you have got only say 4 bags today. Okay, you have got only 4 bags today. So how much material do you require for the next 2 days? Pavitra, Radhika and Sunarav, can you tell me? Take this example so that you can understand it easily. Your average consumption, the cement consumption in your housing project is 10 bags per day. Right now you have got only 4 bags and you are calculating the requirements for the next 2 days, for next 1 week, let's say. So how much bags you require, or how many bags you require?
74 bags.
Which dates?
74 or 64.
Whatever, right? So, and assume it you have got 5 bags as the safety stock. Okay, so assume it if you have got 5 bags right now available, that goes into safety stock. So therefore you have absolutely no stock to use it. So you require 10 bags for today, another 10 bags for tomorrow, so on and so forth for the next 1 week, 7 days. So it means you require 70 bags. Are you getting my point? So therefore your system determines the 10 bags on an average for every day. So what is it considering while determining 10 bags? It's considering the stock available on hand, isn't it? And then the demand, which I said 10 bags per day, plus supply if there is anything. What is supply? What is that I am receiving tomorrow? What is that I am receiving day after? What is that I am receiving 2 days later? Isn't it? So therefore, plus the planning parameters. What do you mean by planning parameters? Which planning type am I using? In which plant am I doing this planning? Who is my planner? What type of planning am I using? Is it my MPS or MRP or CGP or forecast based planning? And how much time does my vendor require to supply the material? All these things are called planning parameters. So therefore, MRP works based on the supply and demand. If supply is more than demand, then no requirement will be found out. If demand is more than supply, then there is a shortfall of material within a plant. Therefore, the MRP triggers. Are you getting my point? If supply is less than demand, supply అంటే ఏంటంటే మనకు వచ్చేది, demand అంటే ఏంటి మనకు కావాల్సింది. So the plant stock, that is the current stock on hand plus supply, if it is less than or equals to demand, then that situation is called negative stock situation. For whatever the negative quantity that is identified, for which system generates a purchase requisition automatically. If you want to go with external purchasing, or if it's an in-house produced material, the system creates a planned order if the supply plus on-hand stock falls below the demand. Okay, so this is a very good picture. Everything within MRP is derived from this only. Plant stock plus supply. If it is less than demand, MRP triggers. While it is triggered, it also considers planning parameters such as MRP controller, MRP type, number of days required by the supplier to supply material, goods receipt processing time, purchase requisition processing time. All these things will be considered, and it finds out for the quantity which is the negative, that is means demand minus supply, whatever the quantity that is there, for which system generates an order proposal. This order proposal could be a purchase requisition in case if the procurement indicator maintained in the material master is external procurement, or if the material is in-house production material, it generates a planned order which will be converted into production order. Okay, so this is how your MRP works. Is this clear? మొత్తం దీని మీద డిపెండ్ అయి ఉందండి. Okay, so now
Yes, sir.
let's try to understand the consumption based material requirement planning. As I said, in consumption based requirement planning we have got two things: reorder point planning and the stochastic planning. And also, where do we use consumption based planning? Probably I should have specified here. This MPS is used for A class materials. A class means production critical. Okay, production critical materials. Okay, this is used for B and C class materials. Okay, so CBP, as the name indicates, it is used for B and C class materials, even this one also. Okay, deterministic MRP is again focused in PP module, so therefore it also takes care of the production critical materials. Next, your reorder point planning is actually derived into two more categories. One is manual reorder point planning. Okay, there is also the second one called automatic reorder point planning. We will discuss about manual reorder point planning. Okay. Now, consumption based MRP procedures. Like I said, it has got two things: forecast based planning and stochastic planning. Second one is reorder point planning, which is again further subdivided into manual reorder point and automatic reorder point planning. As the name indicates, consumption based means what is that I have consumed in the last month, last 2 months, last 5 months, last 6 months, or last 1 year. Based on the consumption history of a certain material, I will be finding out the future requirements. Such kind of planning is called CBP, consumption based planning. So in the consumption based planning, let's discuss about reorder point planning. What is reorder point planning? Reorder, what does it mean? The reorder point, for example, at what point of time I should raise an order. Let me just go and help you understand what is this reorder point planning and how does it works. Okay, assume it. Okay, I would say this is period in days. All right. So this is stock. Okay. So here I would say quantity of let me put it as say 50. Okay, something like 100, say 200, 400, 600, and assume it this as 1000. Okay. Right. So here you just go with the days, something like put it something like this. Okay.
12 months.
Sorry, Andy.
12 months. 12 months తీసుకుంటే సరిపోద్ది కన్వర్షన్ 12 months పెట్టుకుంటే సరిపోద్ది.
Yeah, ఎట్లానే తీసుకోండి, weeks or months of up to you. Okay, periods in days or months, whatever you call it, you take it that way. Let's say second, fourth, sixth, say 8, all right. For example, 10, 16, say 18, okay, be it as 20th, 22, 24, 26, 28, 26, and then 30, 1 month, okay? Now, assume it, I have a stock of 100 pieces or 100 each. In my stock of 100 pieces or 100 each. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, sir.
So, let's say all these 1000 pieces, if I keep consuming it, okay, if I consume it, this 1000 quantity will be completed in 10 days time. Okay, so sorry. So what is this level? If I keep using this 1000 pieces, okay, the entire stock will get completed in 10 days time. So it means what? By the time it reaches, okay, so by the time it reaches this stock of 10 days, your stock becomes 10 days. Your stock becomes. So do you want to wait up to this point? So do you want to raise the purchase requisition, or do you want to raise the purchase requisition even before your stock reaching zero? Are you getting my point? So do you want to wait until the stock reaches zero, or
No.
no?
No. We have to maintain some safety stock.
Okay. So assume it. Just give me a moment. This is one thing. And also, this is your safety stock, right? Okay. So, okay. So like this. So what is this point is being called?
Safety level.
And what is this point is called? I would say this is safety level.
MRP level.
Okay. And this particular point, this is called ROP, reorder point. This is called reorder point. So what happens is, you see here, if I keep using the stock which is there in my store, what happens is, sir, can you please be all on mute? Or else I may have to. Can you please be all on mute? I will mute you all. In case if you have any questions, please just type it so that I will unmute yourself. Okay. So now, what I'm trying to say is, if I keep using this 1000 pieces on a daily basis, by the time the 10th day comes, the stock becomes zero. Obviously, I do not want to wait up to that point of time. Okay, obviously I do not want to wait up to that point of time. So I wanted the stock, as soon as it touches safety stock, the stock again, the inventory should come. Okay, so when I receive the stock, I will be receiving it for full quantity. So therefore, this point, okay, therefore this point is called, this point is called maximum stock level. Okay, so this point is called maximum stock level. So next time, so assume it on 8th day or 9th day. So the safety stock is getting touched. At that point of time, I wanted the vendor to deliver the quantity once again, so that the stock I will be receiving it, and then therefore my storage location will be full once again. Okay, so therefore the cycle keeps on goes like this. So once again, you know, it keeps on moving like this. When the stock receives, you receive it like this, and also like that it moves on. How is it now? Sundarao garu వినిపిస్తుందండి? హలో
Hello? Yes.
మీకేమైనా వాయిస్ బ్రేక్ అవుతుందండి?
ఇప్పుడేం రావట్లేదు సార్. ఇప్పుడు బాగానే ఉంది.
All right. Okay. So therefore, now you see here this point, reorder point, that is the point from which the system triggers the order. Okay, this date, the time between okay, this date, that is the time between the reorder point and the by the time that the goods is received, right? So assuming this is 5th day, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. So by the time 9th day you are receiving the goods. So it means what are the number of days between this? 5 days, isn't it? So these 5 days is called replenishment lead time. Means planned delivery date, planned delivery days. So though assume it, your vendor said he requires 5 days to supply the material upon giving the order to him. So it means what? By 5th you have to raise the requisition and it will be converted into PO. So therefore, once the PO is received by the supplier, he requires 5 days. So by the time 9th day, the date 9th has come, so therefore you receive the goods. I don't know what's the problem. Sundara garu inka breaking unda? Hello. Radhika, Pavitra, is it audible to you?
For me, yes. For me, it is okay, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. So this is called replenishment lead time, or simply put it as lead time. I will call it as RLT, or simply replenish replenishment lead time. Okay, so now let's try to understand this reorder point planning. So how it works? Assume it initially you have got a stock of 1000 pieces in your stores. If you start using it regularly every day, by the time 10th day comes, it gets to 0 level. Obviously nobody in the world would like to wait until your stock reaches 0. So therefore, what is the best plan? As soon as the stock quantity touches safety stock, by the time you should receive the stock once again from the vendor. Okay, so accordingly I set my safety stock as 50. So this 50 is called safety stock level. Okay, and if I have to receive the stock once again, by the time the stock reaches safety stock, how many days before should I raise an order to the supplier? Okay, how many days before means at what point of stock level I should raise the requisition once again. that point is called reorder point. The day or the time from reorder point till the material is received into your stores, that number of days, that period is called replenishment lead time. That's the time required by the supplier to receive the material, isn't it? So this is how your consumption based planning works. Okay. This is what you call it as consumption based planning. Okay, so is it clear, the consumption based planning?
ఎకనామిక్ ఆర్డర్ క్వాంటిటీ కూడా వస్తుంది ఇందులో.
ఏదండి?
ఈ సిలబస్ లో ఎకనామిక్ ఆర్డర్ క్వాంటిటీ కూడా వస్తుందా?
ఎకనామిక్ ఆర్డర్ క్వాంటిటీ అంటే ఏమి ఉండదండి. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ వీ కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్, అంటే మీకు తర్వాత నేను చెప్తాను, లాట్ సైజింగ్స్ అని ఉన్నాయన్నమాట. సో in the lot sizing we will be discussing something called static lot size, dynamic lot size, optimistic lot size, or what you call periodic lot size. Dynamic lot size the economic lot sizing అనేది డిస్కస్ చేస్తామండి. అంతేగాని అది MRP లో పార్టే, బట్ ఇక్కడ డిస్కస్ చేయం.
ఓకే సార్.
Okay, so now let's go back to the consumption based planning. Right, as you can see here, the consumption based planning determines the material requirements based upon the consumption history of the material. Reorder point logic is based upon the predefined reorder point. Look at here, this point, if you are defining it manually, that is called manual reorder point planning. If the system is determining this point, then that is called automatic reorder point planning. Whereas stochastic MRP refers to the creation of forecast to a project future requirements. This forecast is based upon the historical data, sales data. Okay, so let's go back to this. Works based on the past. I should not say this as consumption, but it is the past sales history. Okay, it's not consumption history, but it's the sales history based on which this will work. The sales order consumes unplanned requirements created by the forecast. MRP is calculated at plant level. However, it can be conducted at storage location level also. This is already discussed it. And there is one more thing called deterministic MRP, as we discussed. This is again part of PP module related type. So this type of MRP is distinguished by planning strategies that are used. Examples are make to order, make to stock, and planning at assembly level. Deterministic MRP plans for the necessary components of planned independent requirements. There is something called planned independent requirements and planned dependent requirements. I'll just give you an example. For example, you are manufacturing a boiler, steam boiler for a 200 megawatt power plant. So if you want to assemble or manufacture a 200 megawatt boiler, 200 megawatt powered boiler, what are the components required for manufacturing? So for a boiler, you require component 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 10. While running MRP for the boiler, are you considering the requirements of the component also? If that is the case, then that is called as planned dependent requirements. So means what? In case of planned dependent requirements, the components will be automatically planned when you are planning for the parent material, which is boiler. In case of planned independent requirements, though you are planning for a boiler, the components will not get planned. Okay, so this is again a part of PP module, so I will not be discussing too much into it. So you could see here deterministic MRP plans for the necessary components of the planned independent requirements based on the future sales quantities that exist in the form of sales orders, material reservations, so on and so forth. You can use middle forecast to plan the total requirements, or you can use it as an aid for calculating the unplanned additional requirements of the safety stock. Okay, the next thing is what are the fields required for the MRP. You have seen basic data 1 to purchasing, general plan data 1 to accounting use, so on and so forth. Now let's try to look for the MRP. What views are required for MRP and what fields are required MRP views. Obviously there are 4 fields which are very common for all the types of MRPs. First and foremost, who is running MRP? Obviously the plant in charge. He is being called as MRP controller. Okay, so MRP controller is the one field which is required mandatorily. So MRP controller is the one field which is required mandatorily. The second field is MRP type. What does it mean by MRP type? The type of planning that you are going to employ for a particular material. What are those types of plans? What are the ones that we have discussed? These are the plans: CBP, ROP, manual reorder point planning, automatic reorder point planning, stochastic MRP, deterministic MRP, okay, or MPS, mass production schedule. These are called types of plannings. So which planning type are you going to execute for which material? Who will be running MRP? These are the 2 primary parameters which you will be requiring. On top of it, there is something called SMK, schedule margin key, which will define the floats of the time. We will discuss this schedule margin key once we are into the field, or I can give you immediately now also. Schedule margin key is something like this. This is normally happens in the PP module. Okay, for that let me open the this one once again. I'll just give you a hint over here. For example, take this as the days. Okay. Assume it. I'll just give you an example first and then I will help you understand schedule margin key here. We have actually planned to start the class at what time? 7:30 time. That is what scheduled start time. Okay, I'll just take this class example only. What is this? I would say scheduled start time. Scheduled start time, which is I should have specified as 7:30 over here. 7:30 a.m. But at what point of time did we start it? Come on, tell me at what time did we start it actually?
7:45 or 7:50.
Roughly 7:55.
Yeah.
Actual start time, which is 7:55 a.m. Isn't it? So convert this. Okay. Next, we have expected to complete the class by, let me put it as Did somebody have got any question? Voice is breaking. Is it breaking now, Sundarao garu?
Sir, rating.
One second. How is it now?
Okay, sir.
ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే మా ఇల్లు రోడ్డు పక్కన. సో ఈ కూరగాయలు అమ్మేవాళ్ళు అవి అమ్మేవాళ్ళు ఇవి అమ్మేవాళ్ళు వస్తూ పోతూ ఉంటారు కదా, వాళ్ళు వస్తూ ఉంటారు బండి మీద, బండి తోసుకుంటూ వెళ్తూ. I think at that point of time you are getting a break.
Yeah, street vendors disturbance.
Correct. Okay. So scheduled finish time. ఎంత అనుకుందాం మనం?
9:30.
9:30 a.m. Actual finish time
10:30.
would be 10 a.m. Okay, right. నేను 7:30కి స్టార్ట్ చేయాలంటే ఎప్పటి నుంచి ప్రిపేర్ కావాలి, ఎప్పటి నుంచి నేను ఐ నీడ్ టు గెట్ ఇట్ స్టార్టెడ్, రైట్?
By 6:30 or 6:45.
Whatever. Okay, so your schedule margin key defines 4 floats. One, what we call it as float before, I'm sorry, the first thing called opening period, right? The second one is called float before production. Third one is called float after production. Okay, and the fourth one is called release period. So your schedule margin key defines all these 4 floats and okay. So float before production, float after production ante entante this piece. This is called float before production. అంటే ఏంటి? The time gap between the actual start time and the scheduled start time is called float before production. So what is float after production? This is called float after production. Okay, I was actually thought of finishing it by 9:30, but it got delayed by half an hour. That is called float after production. Then what is, oops, one second. Do you understand? Okay, okay, just a small this thing. This is float before production, this is float after production. Okay, then what is an opening period? Opening period ante enti? So నేను ఇక్కడ 7:30కి స్టార్ట్ చేయాలంటే when should I begin? Maybe 7. I should get up by 7, or I should come to my home by 7, have my brush and done all those things. So this period. So it means what? 7:30 kala 7 kala నేను రెడీ అవ్వ 7 kala నేను రెడీగా I should be ready myself. Okay, assume it, this is 7 a.m. I should be ready by 7 a.m. That means the time that is required to be ready myself is called, or the time between this one is called opening period. Similarly, ఇక్కడ 7 కి కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయింది, or rather 10 కి కంప్లీట్ అయిపోయింది. Okay, then assume it I have to go out. So release period means the time that is made available between the actual production completion date and the time that is left available for me. Okay, so let me take you back to the actual manufacturing industry. మీరు మెటీరియల్ ఆర్ ఒక ప్రోడక్ట్ తయారు చేశారండి. సో ద ప్రోడక్ట్ ఈజ్ యాక్చువల్లీ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చర్డ్. వాట్ ఈస్ ద యాక్చువల్ టైమ్, the time that was there? No, not that way. Let me put it this way. Once the product is manufactured in the plant, obviously you will not deliver the product to the customer, right? So what you have to do is you have to keep it in your finished go down for some time before it is shipped to the customer. So what is the actual shipping date and what was the date on which it is completed? The number of days between that the shipping date versus the date on which it is completed, manufacturing completed, that period is called release period. Okay, now same thing, come this side. This is what we call it as manufacturing. The actual scheduled start date is nothing but the scheduled manufacturing start date. Scheduled actual manufacturing start date. So scheduled manufacturing start date meeku 7:30 AM aithe ఏ టైం కదా మీకు మెటీరియల్ రెడీగా ఉండాలి, that date is called as, so the number of days between the date of availability of the material versus scheduled start date, this gap is called opening period. Okay, you could say this gap is called as opening period, right? And like I said, the number of days retained, or the number of days that the product is kept or retained in the finished go down before it is actually shipped, that particular thing is called this one. Okay, so you could say this is your release period. You getting my point? So this is actually from the manufacturing perspective. In case of MM module, when you are doing MRP, this is not relevant. So therefore, scheduled margin key can be maintained as a mandatory field. And then the lot size. So that you are saying something like economic order quantity. That economic order quantity is part of lot sizing. There are different types of lot sizes are possible: static lot size, periodic lot size, and dynamic lot size. ఈ lot sizes మనం towards the end of MRP discuss చేస్తామండి. Lot size is nothing but simply remember the quantity of material to be procured with reference to an order. That is called lot size. Okay, so all these 4 fields are required from the material MRP perspective. That is MRP type, MRP controller, SMK, schedule margin key, and lot size. These are 4 mandatory keys for the forecast based or stochastic planning. In case of reorder point planning, what is the reorder level, the reorder point? Okay, this one gets added. Apart from this 4 plus reorder level, all these 4 parameters are required. Then the next thing is there is something called procurement type indicator. This is the one which will actually control everything. Okay, is it audible?
Yes sir.
Okay, so ఈ procurement type indicator అనేది ఏం చేస్తుందంటేనండి, whether this material to be procured externally or if this material is an in-house produced material. So procurement type is also considered as one of the parameters which will automatically come from the material type, right? We have got 3 types of procurement types. One is E, in-house production material. Normally this type of procurement type is assigned to the material type finished goods or semi-finished goods. externally procured material. This is procurement type X, E, F. F means externally procured material. Normally this is assigned to raw materials and semi-finished materials, or even maintenance, repairs and operations kinds of materials. No procurement means this cannot be procured. Example, pipeline material. X. X means what? Both procurements, both in-house production as well as external procurement, both can be done. Such materials are normally semi-finished materials. Okay, so these 4 fields are required, and then there is something called a planning run. There are 3 types of planning runs are possible. Planning run will tell you how are you going to plan the materials in your warehouse, in your stores, in your plant. Are you going to plan all the materials when you are planning, or are you going to plan only some of the materials in your plant, or are you going to plan nothing? I'll tell you one scenario. For example, you are running MRP once in fortnight, means once in 15 days you are running MRP. Assume it in your plant you have got 100 materials. Is there any possibility that you use all the 100 materials day in and day out?
No.
Is it possible, or is that a real scenario?
No, sir.
No. మీ దగ్గర 100 మెటీరియల్స్ ఉంటే 100 మెటీరియల్స్ ని రోజు వాడాలని రూల్ ఏమి లేదండి. ఒక పర్టికులర్ 15 days పీరియడ్ లో ఒక 10 మెటీరియల్స్ అసలు మీరు టచ్ చేయకపోయి ఉండొచ్చు. Isn't it? So there are 3 types of planning runs. What we call it as regenerative planning, net change plan within planning horizon. I'll just put it over here. Planning run types. Okay. A, we call it as regenerative planning. This is called NEUPL. There is something called net change plan. This is called NETCH. And we have got one more plan, net change plan within planning horizon. Within planning horizon. This is called one sec, NETPL.
Net change planning, sir, NETPL.
Okay, so now let me help you understand what is regenerative planning. Regenerative planning means every time when you plan the materials in your plant, you plan all the materials irrespective of whether there is any change in the stock situation or not. Okay, such plan is called regenerative planning. Regenerative people go for regenerative planning when you are running MRP for the first time in your plant, or 2, when the data consistency is not guaranteed at later point of time. For example, మీరు ఫస్ట్ టైం ఎంఆర్పి రన్ చేస్తున్నారండి, మీ కంపెనీలో SAP ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేశారు. సో యూఆర్ రన్నింగ్ ఎంఆర్పి ఫస్ట్ టైం, యూ గో ఫర్ రీజనరేటివ్ ప్లానింగ్ వేర్ ఇన్ ఆల్ ద మెటీరియల్స్ విత్ ఇన్ ద ప్లాంట్ విల్ బి కన్సిడర్డ్ ఫర్ ప్లానింగ్. ఇప్పుడు ఇంకొకసారి, and what is the second situation where you run MRP, regenerative MRP, after a year or 2 years time, there is a lot of changes would have taken place. There data consistency, I mean the planning data is not, the consistency of planning data is not guaranteed. In such cases you go for regenerative planning once again, right? That kind of planning is called regenerative planning, where all the materials within the plant are planned. The second thing is net change plan. Like I said, you have got 100 materials in your plant. You don't use each and every material and each and every day. So therefore there is a possibility of certain materials have never been used, or certain materials have never been touched between 2 successive MRP runs. మనం ఇందాక అనుకున్నాం 15 రోజులకు ఒకసారి ప్లాన్ చేసుకుంటున్నాను అని. ఈ ఒక 15 రోజుల్లో అంటే ఒకసారి ఎంఆర్పి జరిగిన తర్వాత మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ ఎంఆర్పి జరిగే లోపు assume it you have not touched with some 15-20 materials. అంటే ఏంటి, వాటి స్టాక్ లెవెల్స్ కానీ, అంటే no withdrawal of stock, no receipt of stock, no purchase order, nothing has been done for those materials. Do you require planning for such materials? Where or whose status has not been changed since last MRP run? అసలు ఏం చేంజ్ అవ్వలేదండి. మీ దగ్గర ఒక 70 kgs రైస్ బ్యాగ్ ఉంది, మీ ఇంట్లో ఎవరు లేరు 10-15 రోజుల నుంచి, మీరు కన్స్యూమే చేసుకోలేదు, మళ్ళీ ఇంకో కొత్త బ్యాగ్ తెచ్చుకోవాలా మీరు?
అవసరం లేదండి.
Not required. Such kind of planning is called net change planning, wherein the materials whose stock levels have not been changed last MRP run need not be considered for planning. Are you getting my point? Out of 100 materials or 15 materials stock status change కాకపోతే ఆ 10-15 materials ని ఎక్స్క్లూడ్ చేసి మిగతా materials కి మాత్రమే ప్లానింగ్ రన్ చేస్తాం. Such kind of planning is net change plan, wherein the materials whose stock has not been changed since last MRP run will not be considered for planning. All other materials will be considered, but not those materials whose status is not changed. Then the third one is net change plan within planning horizon. అంటే ఏంటి, ఇది కూడా నెట్ చేంజ్ ప్లానింగే. అంటే ఏ మెటీరియల్స్ కి అయితే స్టేటస్ చేంజ్ కాలేదో వాటిని నేను ప్లాన్ చేయను, కానీ ఏ పీరియడ్ లో వాటి స్టేటస్ చేంజ్ కాలేదు. I said few minutes before, I will be running MRP once in 15 days. ఓకే, 15 days కాదు, లాస్ట్ 2 months లో ఏ వేటికి స్టేటస్ అయితే చేంజ్ కాలేదు అవన్నీ నాకు అక్కర్లేదు అనుకుంటున్నాను. I'm specifying the period here, last 2 months. That is called planning horizon. So you should be defining the planning horizon first, and you are considering those materials whose stock levels have not been changed within this planning horizon. They are not supposed to be considered for planning. Such kinds of planning is called net change plan within planning horizon. So you have to specify the planning horizon first, right? So these are the 3 types of planning runs which you can use it while running MRP, whether it is an MM module or PM module or PP module, whatever module it is or whatever MRP type it is. MPS కావచ్చు, MRP కావచ్చు, forecast based కావచ్చు, ఏదైనా plan type కావచ్చు అండి. These are the planning run types that you can use it. Clear? Any questions or is it clear, Andy? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. It is clear. No questions.
All right. Thank you. The next one is activation of MRP. This is what we call it as customization or configuration. So you have to define processes and disciplines, MRP activation at plant level, or in other way, I'll have to create an MRP area, which is a hypothetical organizational unit at which I will be activating my MRP. And then I'll have to define my MRP types. I'll have to define the material statuses. I'll have to maintain the MRP data, and then planning of an unplanned this thing. Okay, MRP area. Like I said, MRP area is nothing but hypothetical organizational unit. MRP area, the definition of MRP area is where you are planning the materials. At what level are you planning the materials? Is it at plant level? If you are running MRP at plant level, your plant becomes MRP area. If you are running MRP at storage location level, storage location becomes your MRP area. As I said in the beginning of the class, in your plant, assuming you have got 5 storage locations, you wanted to exclude 2 storage locations. One storage location is scrap storage location, which need not be considered. The other storage location is also like damaged materials. Okay, even that is also not considered for planning. So exclude those 2, and within the plant only 3 storage locations are now available. When you carry out MRP for these 3 storage locations together, that is also called MRP area. It means what? Plant minus storage location 4 and storage location 5. The 3 locations together of a plant is called one MRP area. right? So like this, you have to define what is your MRP area. That means at what level are you running MRP? Is plant level, storage location level, or excluding couple of storage locations from a single plant? That is called MRP area. So you have to use that concept for MRP. Okay. So that's all about the overview of MRP. I will now take you for the each of the topics within MRP. So from now onwards, what I will be doing is I'll have to do configuration first. Only then I can show you the demo. Execution of MRP means once you run MRP, what is that you are going to see? What is that you will be getting out of executing MRP? As I told you, once you execute an MRP, your system creates an order proposal. Order proposal means what? Purchase requisition is an order proposal, or a plant order in case if the material is in-house produced material. That will be created, isn't it? So this is what we call it as execution of results of an MRP run. MRP planning will balance available inventory that is on hand or on order with requirements using applicable planning parameters and configuration tables. MRP run execution creates an MRP list which displays requirements at the time of last planning run. We will discuss what is MRP list, and also I will discuss stock requirement list as well. Planning file entry. This is also.
Hello.
Yeah, Sunaragar, can you hear me? Okay, so the planning file, you have to understand one more concept called planning file. So what is planning file? Why do we require this? Sorry. And how it will be created. Okay. Let's take one example. Assume it, you are traveling. Okay, you are traveling tonight. While you are traveling tonight, as a part of your plan, you will just make a list of items to be carried with you. Yes or no?
Yes, yes, sir.
Similarly, within the plant, if you want to carry out MRP, which materials are to be considered for planning? That is called planning file entries. It means if a certain material needs to be planned, then the entry for that material should be made available in the planning file entry. You getting my point? If you want to run MRP for a certain material, then the entry for that material should be made available in the planning file entry. That entry will be created in the planning file either manually or automatically depending upon your setting. So therefore planning file entries are required if you want to carry out MRP for a material. Sir Sunaragar, can you please be on mute? Hello? Okay, so how will the system generates an entry for a planning file in the how will the system creates an entry for a material in the planning file? Pretty simple, Andy. Any inventory transaction that you perform, because of that, if the stock is falling below the safety stock, then system automatically creates an entry in the planning file. మీరు గూడ్స్ రిసిప్ట్ చేశారండి. Can you just give me a moment? సార్ మార్నింగ్ అండి. క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను సార్. క్లాస్లో ఉన్నా. ఒక హాఫ్ అన్ అవర్ కాల్ చేసేదా? లేదు సార్, అట్లా అనకండి, కాల్ చేస్తాను. రైట్. Okay, for example, you are doing goods receipt and by doing goods receipt, what is that happening? Is your stock increasing or not? Okay, come on, you have to answer it, and లేకపోతే నాకు I mean I cannot visualize మీకు అర్థం అవుతుందా లేదో నేను తెలుసుకోలేను. సో you please answer me. Okay, currently the stock available for a certain material is 45. ఇక్కడ 45 ఉంది ఒక మెటీరియల్ కి మీరు ఇప్పుడు ఈ యాజ్ ఆన్ టుడే నౌ యు ఆర్ రిసీవింగ్ క్వాంటిటీ ఆఫ్ 100. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందండి? ఈజ్ ద స్టాక్ గెటింగ్ ఇంక్రీజ్ ఆర్ నాట్? ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది. 45 ప్లస్ 100 అంటే 145. 145 అంటే సేఫ్టీ స్టాక్ దాటిపోయింది కదా. ఈ మీ గూడ్స్ రిసిప్ట్ స్టెప్ మూలంగా స్టాక్ ఏమన్నా సేఫ్టీ స్టాక్ అంటే కిందకు వచ్చిందా? కిందకు వస్తే ప్లానింగ్ ఫైల్లో ఎంట్రీ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. కిందకి రాలేదనుకోండి, అప్పుడేంటి దీనికి ఆల్రెడీ మెటీరియల్ సఫిషియెంట్ గా ఉంది అంటే నథింగ్ బట్ ద సప్లై ఈజ్ మోర్ దాన్ డిమాండ్, దేర్ ఫోర్ ఇట్ నీడ్ నాట్ బి ప్లాన్. మీరు గూడ్స్ ఇష్యూ చేశారు, ఇష్యూ చేస్తే ఏమవుతుంది? క్వాంటిటీ తగ్గుతుంది. క్వాంటిటీ తగ్గినప్పుడు సేఫ్టీ స్టాక్ ని టచ్ అయిందా? టచ్ అయితే ప్లానింగ్ ఫైల్ ఎంట్రీ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. అట్లాగే మీరు మెటీరియల్ మూవ్ చేశారు ఒక ప్లాంట్ నుంచి ఇంకొక ప్లాంట్ కి, ఆ మూవ్ చేయడం మూలంగా క్వాంటిటీ ఏమైనా తగ్గిందా? తగ్గినప్పుడు సేఫ్టీ స్టాక్ ని టచ్ అయిందా? ఓకే, టచ్ అయితే అప్పుడు మళ్ళీ ప్లానింగ్ ఫైల్లో ఎంట్రీ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది ఆ మెటీరియల్ కి. సిమిలర్లీ ఫిజికల్ ఇన్వెంటరీలో రీకాన్సిలేషన్ చేసాం మనం. అంటే ఏంటి? యాక్చువల్ క్వాంటిటీ ఒకటి ఉంటే సిస్టమ్ లో ఇంకో క్వాంటిటీ చూపించింది. సో మీరు దాన్ని ఆ డిఫరెన్సెస్ ని, ఫిజికల్ ఇన్వెంటరీ డిఫరెన్సెస్ ని పోస్ట్ చేశారు. పోస్ట్ చేయడం మూలంగా క్వాంటిటీ పెరగవచ్చు, తగ్గొచ్చు. ఒకవేళ తగ్గింది అనుకున్నాం, తగ్గినప్పుడు అప్పుడు సేఫ్టీ స్టాక్ ని టచ్ అయిందా? టచ్ అయితే ఫిజికల్ ఇన్వెంటరీ, because of that particular physical inventory activity or step, the planning file entry will be made for that material. So take it granted this way, all the inventory transactions trigger an entry in the planning file. Okay, now ఇది అర్థం చేసుకుంటే ఈ పర్టికులర్ స్లైడ్ మీకు ఎంఆర్పి మొత్తం వచ్చేసినట్లేనండి. రైట్, చేంజెస్ రిలవెంట్ టు ఎంఆర్పి. ఎంఆర్పికి రిలవెంట్ చేంజెస్ ఏంటి? నథింగ్ బట్ ఇన్వెంటరీ మేనేజ్మెంట్ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ అండి. ఇవి ఈ ఇన్వెంటరీ ట్రాన్సాక్షన్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ కూడా చేంజెస్ రిలవెంట్ టు ఎంఆర్పి. ఆ చేంజెస్ ఏమైనా జరిగితే ప్లానింగ్ ఫైల్లో ఎంట్రీ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది, ఎంట్రీ ఇన్ ద ప్లానింగ్ ఫైల్. ఒకవేళ ప్లానింగ్ ఫైల్లో ఎంట్రీ ఉంటే ఆ మెటీరియల్ ని ఎంఆర్పి రన్ చేసినప్పుడు దానికి ప్లానింగ్ రన్ ట్రిగ్గర్ అవుతుంది. ఆ ప్లానింగ్ రన్ మెటీరియల్ ట్రిగ్గర్ అయినప్పుడు ఆర్డర్ ప్రపోజల్ విల్ బి క్రియేటెడ్. ఏం ఆర్డర్ ప్రపోజల్? ఆర్డర్ ప్రపోజల్ విల్ బి బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ టైప్ ఇండికేటర్ మెయింటైన్ ఫర్ దట్ మెటీరియల్. సో ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ టైప్ కనుక ఎఫ్ ఉంటే అంటే ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ అయితే దానికి పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ క్రియేట్ అవుతుందండి. పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ విల్ బి కన్వర్టెడ్ ఇంటూ పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ అండ్ దిస్ విల్ బి గివెన్ ఇట్ టు ద సప్లయర్. ఒకవేళ మెటీరియల్ కి ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ టైప్ ఇండికేటర్ ఈ ఉండుంటే అంటే ఇన్ హౌస్ ప్రొడక్షన్, అప్పుడు ప్లాన్డ్ ఆర్డర్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది సిస్టమ్. ప్లాన్డ్ ఆర్డర్ విల్ బి కన్వర్టెడ్ ఇంటూ ప్రొడక్షన్ ఆర్డర్. యాజ్ పర్ ప్రొడక్షన్ ఆర్డర్ యూ ప్రొడ్యూస్ ద మెటీరియల్. ఈ రెండు కాకుండా ఎక్స్ అనేది ఉండేదానికి కూడా అవకాశం ఉంది. ఎక్స్ అంటే ఇన్ హౌస్ అండ్ ఎక్స్టర్నల్. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? అప్పుడు సిస్టమ్ ప్లాన్డ్ ఆర్డర్ ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తుందండి. దట్ కెన్ బి అగైన్ కన్వర్టెడ్ ఇంటూ పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెషన్ ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు గో విత్ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్, or if you want to go with in-house production, it will be converted into production order. Right? So this is the basic funda of MRP. మీకు ఈ పర్టికులర్ స్లైడ్ లో ఉన్నది అర్థమైతే MRP is assumed to be understanding for you. Okay, is the concept clear? This is on this basis only the entire MRP works. అర్థమైందండి మీకు పవిత్ర అండ్ రాధిక?
ఓకే సార్.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So rest of the things are all pretty things అండి. MRP list, this is nothing but the outcome of MRP. మీరు MRP రన్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏమన్నాను నేను, దానికి కనుక షార్ట్ ఫాల్ ఏమన్నా ఉంటే మెటీరియల్ కి ఆ షార్ట్ ఫాల్ క్వాంటిటీకి తగ్గట్టుగా పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెషన్ లేకపోతే ప్లాన్డ్ ఆర్డర్ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, ఎంఆర్పి మీరు రన్ చేసినప్పుడు ప్లాన్ ఆర్డర్ ఒకటి వచ్చింది, పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెషన్ ఒకటి వచ్చింది. సో ఇట్లా క్రియేట్ అయ్యి మీకు కనిపిస్తాయండి. ఓకే, సో ఐఎమ్ స్టాపింగ్ హియర్ at this point of time and then I now go back to configurations. మిమ్మల్ని స్టేజ్కి తీసుకురావాలి అంటే I have to do certain configurations first. So I'll start doing configurations and probably by tomorrow we will be able to complete the configurations. లేదు మీరు ఈవినింగ్ వస్తానంటే ఐఎమ్ రెడీ ఫర్ ఈవినింగ్ క్లాస్ ఆల్సో టుడే. వాట్స్ యువర్ ప్రిఫరెన్స్? సాయంత్రం కూడా పెట్టుకుందామండి.
No sir, please.
ఓకే, ఓకే. సో ఐ గో విత్ SPRO. దీంట్లో ముందు మనం డెమో ఇచ్చి తర్వాత మళ్ళీ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్స్ చేసి తర్వాత యాజ్ పర్ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్స్ చూపించడానికి ఉండదండి. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు డూ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్స్, లేకపోతే మీ MRP ట్రిగ్గర్ అవ్వాలి. ఓకే, సో therefore I go with SPRO configurations. Go to material management, consumption based planning. దీంట్లో పెద్ద కాన్ఫిగరేషన్స్ కూడా ఉండవు, అన్ని ఒకే చోట ఉంటాయి. I'll show you. Look at here, plant parameters అని ఉంది కదా. Go into this. Carry out overall maintenance of plant parameters. ఇక్కడ మీరు చేస్తే చాలా మటుకు క్రింద ఉన్న నోట్స్ లో అన్నీ కూడా కవర్ అయిపోతాయండి. సో ఐ ఆల్వేస్ రికమెండ్ యూ గో విత్ ద సెంట్రల్ లెవెల్. ఇఫ్ యూ గో విత్ క్యారీ అవుట్ ఓవరాల్ మెయింటెనెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్లాంట్ పారామీటర్స్, చూడండి యాజ్ ద నేమ్ ఓవరాల్ అంటే ఏంటి, మెజారిటీ ఆఫ్ ద థింగ్స్ ఇక్కడ అన్నీ కూడా ఇక్కడే కవర్ అయిపోతాయి. మీరు ఇక్కడ చేస్తే పొరపాటు దీన్ని మర్చిపోతే ప్రతి నోట్లోకి వెళ్ళి ఇవన్నీ మీరు చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. సో వాట్ ఐ డూ ఈస్ ఐ గో విత్ క్యారీ అవుట్ ఓవరాల్ మెయింటెనెన్స్. మీరు కనుక మీ ప్లాంట్ ని కాపీ కంట్రోల్ తో క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంటే మీకు ఇక్కడ మీ ప్లాంట్ క్రియేట్ అయి ఉంటుంది. ఒకవేళ మీరు డిఫైన్ న్యూ ప్లాంట్ అని వెళ్ళి ఉంటే ఇక్కడ మీకు ప్లాంట్ రాదండి. దాట్స్ ద రీజన్ ఐ ఆల్వేస్ రికమెండ్ కాపీ, యూజ్ కాపీ ఆప్షన్ వేర్ ఎవర్ పాసిబుల్. దానివల్ల ఏంటంటే దేర్ విల్ బి సర్టెన్ డిఫాల్ట్ సెట్టింగ్స్ విచ్ విల్ బి కాపీడ్ ఫ్రమ్ ది SAP స్టాండర్డ్ కంపెనీ, రైట్? సో బికాస్ ఐ హావ్ కాపీడ్ మై 777C from the 0001 company code, I assume my company, my plant would have been there. So I go with maintain. My plant ఏంటండి 77C. ఒకవేళ ఈ 77C ఇక్కడ లేదనుకోండి, అప్పుడు I should go with create. Okay, so I go with maintain. Now you see here చాలా చోట్ల ఆల్రెడీ మెయింటైన్ అని కనిపిస్తుంది. అంటే దాని అర్థం ఏంటంటేనండి 0001 ప్లాంట్ కొన్న కాన్ఫిగరేషన్స్ అన్ని మీ 777C ప్లాంట్ కి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అయిపోయినాయి. ఎక్సెప్ట్ ఈ స్పెషల్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ చూడండి, ఇనిషియల్ అని ఉంది, ఇది అవ్వలేదు. అదే మీరు కొత్తగా ఒక ప్లాంట్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలనుకోండి, ఇట్లా వెళ్ళాలి. అప్పుడు మీరు దేని నుంచి కాపీ చేయదలుచుకున్నారో ఆ ప్లాంట్ ఇచ్చేసి క్రియేట్ కొట్టారనుకోండి, అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, మీకు ఒక ఎంట్రీ క్రియేట్ అయ్యి దాంట్లో ప్రతిదీ కూడా ఇనిషియల్ స్టేజ్ లో ఉంటుంది. సో ఈ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్స్ అన్ని మీరే ఇచ్చుకోవాల్సి ఉంటుంది. Provided if you go with the define new plant in enterprise structure. Okay, సో ఇక్కడ చూడండి వరుసగా నేను ఈ ట్యాబ్స్ అన్ని కూడా మెయింటైన్ చేయాలంటే దట్స్ ఇట్. నంబర్ రేంజెస్ ఎందుకండి, వెన్ యూ రన్ MRP ఏమనుకున్నాం మనం, పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెషన్ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది, లేకపోతే ప్లాన్ ఆర్డర్ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది అనుకున్నాం. దాంతో పాటుగా MRP లిస్ట్ అంటారు. ఈ MRP లిస్ట్ విల్ కంటైన్ యువర్ రిక్వెషన్స్ అండ్ ప్లాన్ ఆర్డర్ సో ఆన్ అండ్ సో ఫోర్త్. సో ఈ MRP లిస్ట్ కి, పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెషన్స్ కి, పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ ప్లాన్ ఆర్డర్స్ కి నంబర్ అయితే కావాలి కదా. సో దట్ నంబర్ రేంజ్ ఐఎమ్ మెయింటైనింగ్ హియర్, నథింగ్ ఎల్స్. లుక్ at here, I'll simply go with purchase requisition, and also there is a possibility of creating reservation also, right? So look at here, purchase requisition కి వెళ్ళా, ఇక్కడ నంబర్ రేంజ్ మెయింటైన్ చేయమని అడుగుతున్నాను. కొత్త నంబర్ రేంజ్ కావాలంటే మీరు ఇచ్చుకోవచ్చు, లేదంటే పాత నంబర్ రేంజెస్ కూడా సరిపోతాయి. సో ఈ 777C లో పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెషన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు 01 నంబర్ రేంజ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ 01 వాడుకున్నాం. ఈ 01 ఎక్కడ కింద ఉంటుందండి. I'll just show you here. ఇక్కడ ఉంది కదా ఈ నంబర్ రేంజెస్. సో ఫస్ట్ ఏం చేస్తామంటేనండి, ఇక్కడ డిఫైన్ నంబర్ రేంజెస్ ఫర్ ప్లానింగ్ రన్ ఉంది కదా, ఇక్కడ నంబర్ ని క్రియేట్ చేసుకుంటామండి. ఈ నంబర్ రేంజ్ ఇదేం పెద్ద విషయం కాదు ఇది. చూడండి ఇక్కడ నంబర్ రేంజ్ క్లిక్ చేశారు అనుకోండి మీరు సేమ్ అదే వస్తుంది అనమాట. ఓకే, నంబర్ రేంజ్ ఇంటర్వల్ మీరు క్రియేట్ చేయాలంటే యు గో విత్ ఇట్. సేమ్ ఇంతకుముందు మీరు ఏవైతే మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్ కి, వెండర్ మాస్టర్ కి, ఇజంట్ ఇట్ పర్చేసింగ్ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ కి ఏవైతే చేశారో అదే ఇదండి, ఇంక దీంట్లో ఏం లేదు. యూ జస్ట్ గో విత్ చేంజ్ ఇంటర్వల్స్. ఓకే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీరు ఇప్పటి వరకు క్రియేట్ చేసిన పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెషన్స్ కి నంబర్ రేంజ్ ఎట్లా వచ్చిందండి? ఐ థింక్ ఇట్ కేమ్ విత్ 2తో స్టార్ట్ అయినాయి కదా మన నంబర్ రేంజెస్ అన్ని, ఇజంట్ ఇట్ /ME53N. నిన్న కూడా మనం ఒక రిక్వెస్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసామండి, రిఫరెన్స్ టు సేల్స్ ఆర్డర్ ఒక రిక్వెస్ట్ క్రియేట్ అయింది మనకి. ఇవన్నీ ఎట్లా? ఐ థింక్ నంబర్ దే ఆల్ స్టార్టెడ్ విత్ నంబర్ 2. Come on, why is it not coming? సో మీకు కావాలంటే నార్మల్ గా జనరేట్ అయిన రిక్వెజిషన్ కి ఒక నంబరు, ఇజంట్ ఇట్? అట్ ది సేమ్ టైం ఎంఆర్పి ద్వారా జనరేట్ అయిన రిక్వెజిషన్స్ కి ఇంకో నంబర్ పెట్టుకోవచ్చు అండి. సో దట్ వే బై సింప్లీ లుకింగ్ అట్ ద నంబర్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ you can say whether it's an MRP generated number or a different one. Let me look it into the table and I'm not finding it here. Where are you going? Okay, go. I'll just try to find out the requisitions created for our plant. C execute. చూడండి ఇక్కడ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ వాజ్ క్రియేటెడ్ విత్ నంబర్ రేంజ్ 1 కదండి. సో 1తో క్రియేట్ అయి ఉన్నాయి. ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ దీస్ నంబర్స్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీకు ఇప్పుడు 2తో క్రియేట్ అయిన, ఒకవేళ 2తో వాట్ యు కాల్ ఎంఆర్పి జనరేటెడ్ నంబర్స్ 2తో పెట్టాలనుకోండి మీరు, యూ జస్ట్ గో అండ్ క్రియేట్ వన్ నంబర్ రేంజ్ ఫర్ దాట్. హౌ? లుక్ ఎట్ హియర్. ఇంటర్వల్ లోకి వెళ్ళండి, చేంజ్ ఇంటర్వల్. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ యూ గివ్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ 999 and that should not be available here, that should not have been used. Okay, లేదు అనుకుందాం. So here from number look for if there is anything here. Okay, there is this number range available for me, 99. Okay, I can go and use this. Okay, చూడండి 99 తో క్రియేట్ అయింది కదా. దిస్ ఈజ్ మై నంబర్ రేంజ్ ఇంటర్వల్ అండి. దీస్ ఆర్ ద యాక్చువల్ నంబర్స్. ఐ గో అండ్ సేవ్ ఇట్. సేమ్ ఇప్పుడు దీన్ని అక్కడ మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి. దట్స్ ఇట్. 99 ఉంది కదా నంబర్ రేంజ్ ఇంటర్వల్. దీన్ని మీరు సేమ్ ఏదైనా ఇక్కడికైనా ఇక్కడ నుంచి చేసేయచ్చు, లేదంటే వన్స్ అగైన్ యూ గో విత్ క్యారీ అవుట్ ఓవరాల్ మెయింటెనెన్స్. గో విత్ మెయింటైన్ వాట్స్ యువర్ ప్లాంట్ 777C. You go and maintain it over here. You go with number ranges here, and then you come back to purchase requisition. You see here you go and change this 01 to 99. Okay, so therefore next time when the PR is created automatically by the system as a result of MRP, you would see the number with 2. ఓకే, సో ఈ విధంగా మీరు మీ రిజర్వేషన్స్ కానీ, ప్లాన్డ్ ఆర్డర్స్ కానీ, ఈవెన్ ఎంఆర్పి లిస్ట్ ఆల్సో యూ కెన్ క్రియేట్ యువర్ ఓన్ నంబర్ రేంజెస్. I just created one number range for purchase requisition. If you want to use the same for all of the things, you can use it, or else if you don't want to also, because it's already been maintained, you need not have to touch it. Okay, I'll go and I'm done with number ranges. Now MRP controllers. Okay, 777C plant MRP controller 0001 ఉందండి. ఇది మీద, it's not yours, right? So therefore I maintain this as 777. Sundar Rao is my plant in charge, so I use his name. Okay, so this 0001 I am deleting it. I save it. Okay, so now MRP controller I have maintained. Then there is special procurement. Okay, simultaneously let me open my material also. /o mm01. I'm creating one material for you as part of demo. Industry sector, manufacturing, material type is GMRO, so I use GMRO. Basic data 1 to purchasing, MRP 1, 2, 3, 4. I choose these things now. General plan data 1, accounting 1. Okay, hit enter. MRP demo. Okay, unit of measure is each. Choose some material group. Okay, a purchasing group, NIS, purchasing value key, goods receipt processing time. Now look at here, MRP 1, 2, 3, 4. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, base unit of measure, purchasing group, these are required. MRP group, I am yet to define MRP group. I have defined my MRP controller, so therefore my 777 Sundar Rao will be available as an in charge MRP controller. MRP type. What is MRP type? As I told you, what type of planning are you going to use it? MPS, CBP, within CBP, manual reorder point planning, automatic reorder point planning, all those things. Okay, so I go with VB, manual reorder point planning. Do I have VB? Yeah, manual reorder point planning. You see here, I am choosing manual reorder point planning. I hit enter. Now you see, because it is a manual reorder point planning, system is asking me, boss, what is your reorder point? My reorder point is 250 quantity. I hit enter. Now system is asking, okay, your reorder point is 250, that's fine, but how would you like to procure the quantity? Lot sizes, static lot size, dynamic lot size, or what? Okay, my lot size is, you see here, lot size is nothing but the quantity of material that you procure. Every time when you purchase a material, how much quantity are you procuring? How much quantity are you getting? Full quantity, full storage capacity. This is called replenish up to maximum stock. Okay, replenish up to maximum stock. Replenish to maximum stock level. Right? I choose this one. Hit enter. బానే ఉంది, మీరు రీప్లెనిష్ అప్ టు మాక్సిమం స్టాక్ లెవెల్ అన్నారు. మీ మాక్సిమం స్టాక్ లెవెల్ ఏంటి దానికి తెలియాలి కదా సిస్టమ్ కి. సో దేర్ఫోర్ యూ షుడ్ స్పెసిఫై your maximum stock level. Okay, assume it as 1000. Hit enter. Okay. Next, I am in MRP2 view. You see here, procurement type indicator F. ఇది చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ అండి. ఇదే కంట్రోల్ చేస్తుంది పిఆర్ ని క్రియేట్ చేయాలా లేకపోతే ప్లాన్డ్ ఆర్డర్ ని క్రియేట్ చేయాలా. ఇది ఆటోమేటికల్లీ వచ్చేస్తుందండి మీ మెటీరియల్ టైప్ ని బట్టి. ఓకే, స్పెషల్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ ఇండికేటర్. Pavitra, you asked me a couple of days back when we worked with subcontracting, sir, I don't want to maintain item category L. I wanted L to be defaulted automatically into the material while I am creating PR or PO. I said, yes, you can do it, but you have to maintain the special procurement indicator in the MRP. This is the one which I am going to do now. Look at here. I have done with MRP controller. Now you see special procurement. I go with this. It's not maintained, so I go with new entries. Ain't na plant 77C. Special procurement type, I let's say use 30. Subcontracting material, let's say, put it this way. What is the procurement type? I have to specify external procurement. Now, what type of special procurement indicator it is? I should use F of L, means external procurement subcontracting item. Okay, I don't need to specify plant over here. That's all I have to specify. Or maybe even if you use plant also, it doesn't make any difference. So therefore, you save it.
సబ్ కాంట్రాక్ట్ ప్లాంట్ ఉండదా సార్?
అక్కర్లేదండి. థర్డ్ పార్టీకి అయితే, థర్డ్ పార్టీ అన్న స్టాక్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ ఆర్డర్కి అయితే ఇవ్వాలని, మామూలు మిగతా వాటికి అక్కర్లేదు. ఓకే, సో ఐ హావ్ నౌ క్రియేటెడ్ 30 కదా. బ్యాక్ నౌ రండి, మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్లోకి రండి. యూ యూజ్ 30 here. 30 will be made available for you. Okay, next planned delivery time. వెండర్ కి ఎంత టైం కావాలండి ఇక్కడ మనం స్పెసిఫై చేసాం. ఈ పాయింట్ దగ్గర ఆర్డర్ చేస్తే వాడికి 5 days పడుతుంది మెటీరియల్ మీకు పంపించడం కోసం. దిస్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ replenishment or planned delivery time, or what we call as replenishment lead time. So you maintain this. Schedule margin కి నేను ఇవ్వలేదు ఇక్కడ. Why this? Like I told you, schedule margin key is basically meant for PP module. Float before production, float after production. What are these? Is it not production? So therefore you need not have to give it అండి. మీకు కావాలి అంటే సేఫ్టీ స్టాక్ ఇచ్చుకోవచ్చు అండి. సో ఇక్కడ సేఫ్టీ స్టాక్ ఇండికేటర్ ఎక్కడ ఉంటుంది? సేఫ్టీ స్టాక్ I can give 50. Okay, save. Accounting, valuation class loki randi. You give valuation class and then you give price as something like 20. Okay, remember this 1000 or not, is 10,423 is my material. దీన్ని ఇప్పుడు మీరు పిఆర్ లో వాడారనుకోండి, ఐటమ్ కేటగిరీ ఆటోమేటికల్గా వచ్చేస్తుందండి దీనికి. Okay, I'll just go with the display just to take this one. Now you see here, Pavitra, this is specifically I'm doing it for you. ఇక్కడ మీరు మెటీరియల్ నంబర్ ఇచ్చారంటే quantity as something like 100, plant 777C, hit enter. Okay, చూడండి ఇక్కడ MRP uses special procurement type L for the material. ఇది ఒక మెసేజ్ అండి. ఈ మెసేజ్ మీరు హార్డ్ మెసేజ్ చేస్తే ME174. In the case of a warning message, check the item category and correct if necessary. An error message, correct the item category. సో అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటేనండి, దీన్ని మీరు హార్డ్ ఎర్రర్ చేస్తే సిస్టమ్ విల్ స్టాప్ యూ moving without entering the item category L. లేదంటే you have to do a little bit of ABAP work so that it's not getting picked up. So that దీనికి what we call as field exit అంటారండి. ఈ field item category field లో whatever the L is specifying in the message, that then automatically వచ్చేటట్టు మీరు చేయొచ్చు. You have to do you have to write your own piece of code so that this L will come automatically. So it can be done even that way also. Not possible to determine any comments or any components because మీరేం మెయింటైన్ చేయలేదు కదండి దానికి. Okay, so just one sec, /n cs01 మీరు ఇక్కడికి వెళ్ళి what you can do is దీనికి మీరు ఏదైనా components maintain చేయండి. I'll just go pick it, save in the label మనకి ఇవి ఉన్నాయి కదా, though not relevant, just for the example sake I'm giving 2 GB RAM, quantity hard disk 1, this is also 1 RAMs 2. I go and save it. Only for the example sake I'm just putting it, adding it like this. Okay, it actually a save outlet and there is some problem with MRP. Okay, so it has come out without saving it. చూస్తే సేవ్ కావట్లేదు. So there is some problem. So I don't know what the problem is. So అది సేవ్ అయితే కనుక మీకు వస్తుందండి. Right. Next one. So you have maintained special procurements and then the floats. You see here, floats means schedule margin key. You can maintain your own schedule margin keys, something like this. Your schedule margin key, you can make it as 777. Opening period of 10 days, float before production 3 days, float after production 2 days, release period as, for example, 1 more 3 days. You can give it like this. Okay, so rest of these 2 entries you can delete it, you can save it. Now if you can go with change your material master, lock by Venkat. Where did I lock it? Create bomb, back, no. Okay, so if you go with this, okay, if you look into MRP2 view, schedule margin key, your 777 will come over here, isn't it? Then back. Now you see the next one is, see the first one is environment, this is master data, but then the next one is planned orders. Planned orders means in case if your system is creating planned order and if you want to convert this into purchase requisition, how many planned orders can you convert per day? Is it 100, 550? This you can change it. Okay, I go and change this, I save it. Right, next one. Availability dependent requirements. Okay, so availability dependent requirements is nothing but the availability check that we have used in the inventory management. So in case if you want to use availability check, you can just keep checking this requirement, or else if you would have created, you can do so. Runtime statistics, if you go into here, okay, MRP list, it should be displayed first, so you can keep it. Frequency means every time when you run MRP, I wanted MRP list to be displayed, so therefore I can keep the frequency as 1. Period grouping indicator, this is like you know, the period we have discussed in the MRP planning run types, planning, net change planning within period, within the planning horizon. So this is where this period is required, so you can just keep it as it is. Planning calendar was though not maintained, I will be maintaining it, and I'll come back once I create the planning calendar. I come back here and then I maintain the planning calendar. So wait for some more time for the planning calendar. Okay, now external procurement. In the planning run, when you go into external procurement, what is the purchase processing time? Means purchase Processing time is nothing but number of days required to convert purchase requisition into purchase order. Obviously, it is 1 day. Purchasing group. Which purchasing group needs to be taken while creating purchase requisition? Obviously, your purchasing group, which is NIS. Okay. Creation of delivery schedule. You can go no delivery schedule. Save it. And then rescheduling. Whenever you are doing rescheduling, what is the rescheduling horizon? I would go with the 60 days, 2 months rescheduling. So keep that as it is. Say save. And then planning horizon. We discussed net change plan within planning horizon. So here I will be defining planning horizon is also something like 60 days. I go and maintain that. And then available stocks. While running MRP, I told you system looks at on-hand stock plus supply versus demand. So while looking at the stock, on-hand stock, what are the stock types that the system should consider? Obviously, quality inspection and unrestricted stock. Okay, I don't normally consider blocked stock because blocked stock means it cannot be used, so there is no point in considering that. But again, this is not me who will be taking decision. It is the business who should take the decision accordingly. Whether you wanted to keep all these 3 stocks together, you keep it, or else you can ignore the blocked stock like what I did now. Error handling, it's a standard thing. How many proposals you wanted to be created when you run MRP. Okay, so what is this subs? Let me have a look at it. Substitute MRP controller or group for requirements planning. You need not have to use this one. You can use your own substitute. Okay, and then item numbers. When you create a purchase, when the system creates a purchase requisition, okay, what is the item requisition numbers? Is it 10, 20, 30, 40 or 1, 2, 3, 4? I wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can go with it. I'll just go and save it. Okay, and then start in the past. Means, for example, you are running MRP today or tomorrow. By yesterday itself there was a shortfall. In that case, your system creates a purchase requisition with the date as yesterday, provided if you check this indicator. So I wanted it that way, so therefore you keep the check over here. Alright, then aggregation of MRP list. If you want to do this, I mean SAP recommends not to do this one for the performance reasons, so therefore do not do it. Okay, so now you have maintained the planning parameters. I would now go with MRP groups.
So what is aggregation, sir?
Okay, let me show you here. 777C. Oops, 1 sec. Am I in the second node? Yeah. Aggregation is, for example, మీకు ఒక 4 purchase equations create అయినాయి అనుకోండి. Vendor is same. You can aggregate, cumulative అన్నమాట. You can do so aggregation. So transport MRP, if you work with this indicator controls the format in which data is stored into database. The indicator is not default setting. In this case, the MRP is aggregated for storage. Storage and total cumulative sum, which requires less memory space and improves the system performance. If you set this indicator, MRP list will be stored in a transparent database table. The storage format requires more space, therefore performance will be reduced. So SAP recommends not to set this indicator. That's the reason it's not a default indicator. Okay, so you can use that.
But it is good, no sir, it is good to go for aggregation. Why is SAP MM? Why it will not allow us? It is okay, right?
No. It is allowing. SAP is allowing you, Radhika, but what SAP says is, మీరు అగ్రిగేట్ చేస్తే దానికి ఒక సెపరేట్ టేబుల్ పడుతుంది. ఆ సెపరేట్ టేబుల్లో నుంచి డేటా రీడ్ చేయాలి కాబట్టి పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ కొంచెం స్లో అవుతుంది అని చెప్తారు.
Slow. Okay, fine.
అంటే ఏంటి, మీ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ టేబుల్స్ రీడింగ్ వచ్చి పెరుగుతుందండి. ఆ పెరగడం వలన మీ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ తగ్గుతుంది, సిస్టమ్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్. అందుచేత SAP is recommending not to go for that unless it is required.
Okay, fine, I got it.
Right. Okay, next MRP groups. మీరు ఇక్కడ మీ మెటీరియల్ లో చూస్తుంటే I have not given MRP group any group over here in the MRP one view. Now here I will be giving my MRP group. So carry out overall maintenance for the MRP groups. I go with this. What's your plant? 777C. I'll go with maintain. Even MRP groups unnaya? Until let's see. There are 3 groups. Obviously none of them are mine. I wanted to create my own. So I go with create. Okay, I go with create and I give my MRP group as this one. So I give something like this, create. Okay, you must create an MRP group for maintenance purposes. Parameters with the help of configuration menu. Creating MRP group doesn't replace the maintenance of the parameters. If you want to use same parameters which already exist in MRP, you can do so. I'll just go and copy it. Then let's have a look at here. External procurement. Okay, so then let me copy it. I save it. I can now go with maintain. So here external procurement department, put it like this. Okay, so ఇక్కడ కొత్తగా మెయింటైన్ చేసాం కాబట్టి you see here ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఇనిషియల్ స్టేజెస్ లో ఉన్నాయండి. అంటే ఏంటి, మీరు మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి. Scheduling or document type, you go with this. మీరు పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెషన్ క్రియేట్ అయిన తర్వాత దాన్ని PO గా కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలంటే ఏం డాక్యుమెంట్ టైప్ యూ వాంటెడ్ టు యూస్ ఇట్? డాక్యుమెంట్ టైప్ ఫర్ SPO అంటే స్టాండర్డ్ పర్చేస్ ఆర్డర్ అండి. మనకి GNPO ఉంది కదా, ఆ GNP మనది ఏంటంటే గుర్తుందా మీకు? పర్చేజ్ రిక్వెషన్. I think we have not created purchase requisition, right? So let me use standard purchase requisition alone. Document type for subcontracting, you can use the same one. Document type for stock transport, okay, so you can use the existing one. Save it. Back. Now rescheduling horizon. Scheduling horizon in like 60 days ichanu nenu. The same thing I am giving it over here. Save it. Back. Planning horizon kuda 60 days ichanu previous case lo. So I give the same thing 60, and then 2 months ఒకసారి ప్లాన్ చేయాలంటే డేటా ఇన్కన్సిస్టెన్సీ ఏమైనా ఉంటే I will be correcting those things. Maximum MRP interval. Okay, you can go and give this in the form of days. Number of days after which the material must be planned. Every 15 days, I assume. So 15 days I give it. Back. Safety stock. MRP group but kuda safety stock ivochu meeru. So therefore I give it as 15. Right? And then creation indicator. క్రియేషన్ ఇండికేటర్ అంటే మీరు ఎంఆర్పి రన్ చేస్తారు కదా, ప్లానింగ్ రన్ టైప్స్ వి డిస్కస్ లైక్ నెట్ చేంజ్ ప్లాన్ విత్ ఇన్ ప్లానింగ్ ఆర్ రీజనరేటివ్ ప్లానింగ్. అప్పుడు క్రియేషన్ ఇండికేటర్ అంటే ఏం క్రియేట్ కావాలి, ఎంఆర్పి ప్లాన్ చేస్తే మీరు ఏం క్రియేట్ అవ్వాలి, ఏది ఎక్స్టర్నల్ పర్చేస్, ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ కి ఆబ్వియస్లీ పర్చేస్ రిక్వెషన్స్ క్రియేట్ అవ్వాలి, ఎంఆర్పి లిస్ట్ కూడా క్రియేట్ అవ్వాలి. I don't want any schedule lines, therefore no schedule lines. Hit enter, save it, okay, back once again. Okay, then individual project plan requirements grouping, this is also not required, so you can skip this off, save it and back. Okay, now define MRP group based on material type. This also you can do so. మీ మెటీరియల్ టైప్ జిఎంఆర్ఓ ఉంది కదండి, ఆ జిఎంఆర్ఓకి బై డిఫాల్ట్ మీకు ఇప్పుడు మనం క్రియేట్ చేసిన ఎంఆర్పి గ్రూప్ 777 వచ్చేటట్టు మనం ప్లాన్ చేయొచ్చు. జస్ట్ గో విత్ ఇట్స్ నాట్ దేర్ జిఎంఆర్ఓ, సో ఐ గో విత్ న్యూ ఎంట్రీస్, your material type GMRO, you pick that one, your plant 777, see your MRP group 777, you choose that one, save it. Okay, done. So once you are done with it, number ranges for planning run, we have already seen this one. We have already covered the purchase requisition number range, which I have given as 99. So you could see here for your plant it would be 99 because I have already maintained in the overall maintenance of plant parameters. Okay, next master data. You come here, define MRP controllers. మీరు already MRP controller ని ఇక్కడ define చేశారండి. So therefore you need not have to define any MRP controller here. What's your plant? 777. 777 లో 7C లో MRP controller మీరు already సుందరరావు గారిని define చేశారు కాబట్టి you need not have to define any more. Next, check MRP types. Here is the place where you can create all your MRP types. With me material master లో రండి, you look at here MRP type. ఇవన్నీ కూడా all these MRP types you will be defining it over here. 30 entries ఉన్నాయి కదా ఇక్కడ, all these 30 are actually defined over here. So in case if you want to define another MRP type, you can just come and look at here. I'll just help you one VB manual reorder point planning. These parameters or these features ఏంటంటే you go into this place. V is reorder point planning. There are no forming indicators. Forecasting is original optional forecasting. This is based on the consumption, so therefore it is total consumption. Automatic calculation of safety stock ఉండదు ఇక్కడ. Automatic calculation of reorder point కూడా ఉండదండి. Okay, అదే if you go and choose automatic reorder point planning, what is that? V1 no V2. You see here automatic reorder point planning with external requirements. If you go with this or even VM also automatic reorder point planning, you come here automatic calculation, ఈ check ఉంటుందండి. Okay, so depending upon what plan you are using, you can go and maintain that. Then define special procurement types which have already maintained it. So ఇక్కడ మీరే maintain చేయాల్సిన పని లేదు. For your 777C plant 30 subcontracting already maintain చేశారు కదా. In case if you want to define more, you can do so here as well. Maintain planning calendar. You carry out maintenance of overall plant parameters లో planning calendar ఒక చోట maintain చేయలేదు, అది యూస్ చేసుకోవాలి ఇక్కడ. If you go with 777C ఉంది కదా ఇది, so here period grouping లో if you look at it, I have not maintained planning calendar here. దీన్ని ఎందుకు మెయింటైన్ చేయలేదంటే I have to define it first and then come back here. So what I do, I go back, ఇక్కడ మెయింటైన్ చేస్తాను, maintain planning calendar. Remember, ఇది ఫ్యాక్టరీ క్యాలెండర్ కాదండి, ఇది ప్లానింగ్ క్యాలెండర్. ఓకే, ప్లానింగ్ క్యాలెండర్ అంటే ఎప్పుడెప్పుడు ఎంఆర్పి రన్ చేయాలి అని చెప్పేది. ఫ్యాక్టరీ క్యాలెండర్ అంటే ఏ ఏ రోజులు మీకు వర్కింగ్ డేస్, ఏ రోజులు హాలిడేస్ అని చెప్పేది. సో ఐ గో అండ్ క్రియేట్ ఎ PPC, planning calendar for procurement. Okay, so 77C is your plant. I go and define 777, same name, planning calendar for 7, or I would say Nissan plants. Okay, weekdays ke allam, right? So following ఒకవేళ start of period is not a working day. For example, ఈ రోజు నుంచి రన్ చేస్తున్నాం మనం, ఈ రోజు వర్కింగ్ డే కాదు కదా, అప్పుడు ప్లానింగ్ ఎప్పుడు చేయాలి, నెక్స్ట్ సబ్సిక్వెంట్ వర్కింగ్ డే ఆర్ ఫాలో ఆన్ ఆర్ ఫాలోయింగ్ వర్కింగ్ డే. ఓకే, సో హియర్ minimum number of periods, let's say 10 periods. I would just go with say Monday. Okay, 01/01/2022 58 10 periods ఇచ్చాను కాబట్టి ఇట్లా తీసుకుంది ఇది. So instead of this one I go with 07. Okay, so ఇక్కడ నుంచి it will calculate like this. I go, I save it. Okay, so this is what my planning calendar is. Save it, back, planning calendar is 777. Okay, this is already exists, that's what I wanted. Display, change planning calendar for the new periods, display planning calendar, all these things are not required. Once you have maintained, that's it. Now you can come to this place, maintain your plant once again. You go with maintain, period grouping, you come here and then you give your planning calendar 777. Save it. Okay, so we have done with planning calendar also. Now I am going with MRP area. What is my MRP area? MRP area is nothing but the level at which you carry out MRP. It could be plant, it could be storage location, or it could be combination of plants within combination of storage locations within a certain plant. First of all, you have to activate MRP. MRP is by default activated. Then define MRP areas. You can go and define MRP areas. Means what? What is your MRP area? Ideally plant. You can just choose your plant. By default it would be there, 77C, because you have already copied your MRP, your plant from 0001. So therefore this would have been already maintained. ఒకవేళ లేకపోతే you should go with new entries. Area type 01 అంటే plant level MRP అండి. You see here, plant level MRP. In case if you want to maintain storage location level MRP, you can do so. Okay, అప్పుడు మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే, let me just show you, help you understand this one. Pune plant నేను storage location level MRP, I wanted to set it up. Save it. Okay, so now you should see new entries. MRP area 77P, storage location level MRP for Pune plant. Okay, go like this. MRP type ఇక్కడ 02 చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి మీరు, స్టోరేజ్ లొకేషన్ కాబట్టి. ప్లాంట్ వచ్చేసి 777P ఇవ్వాలి. Okay, what is it says? Only plant MRP area are allowed to have 1 to 4 digits. Okay, give it like this. Okay, now receiving storage location same ఇదే ఇవ్వండి. ఓకే సారీ స్టోరేజ్ లొకేషన్ కదా 000123 ఏదో ఉన్నాయి కదా మీవి రా మెటీరియల్. సో ఇక్కడ ఏంటి మీరు ఈ ప్లాంట్ లో ఈ స్టోరేజ్ లొకేషన్ కి మాత్రమే ఎంఆర్పి రన్ చేస్తున్నట్టు లెక్క. ఓకే, సో హియర్ you should go with like this. Once you are done here, you save it. Why is it saying not possible? I think I have not given here. Okay, 1 second Andy. Just give me a moment. I'll just go back. Oops, gone. SPRO F5 Material Management, Consumption Based Planning, Master Data, MRP areas, Define MRP area, okay, it's already there here, so therefore it is stopping me. Why is it not allowing me to delete it? Can you just give me a moment? Somebody is knocking my door. తిన్నావు కదా మమ్మీ ఇంకేమంటావు ఇంకేమంటావు ఏం తీసుకుంటారు మూడు తిన్నారా డబ్బులు తిరిగి వస్తాయి డబ్బులు అడిగి తిరిగి తీసుకుంటారు Sorry Andy. Okay, so once is this saved, I'll just go 777 something like this 02 plant is 777P. One. Okay, so here you have to give storage location and then you save it. Okay, that's okay. It says it's not possible to delete it. That's okay. Okay, so now you see here is your storage location level MRP. So you can go with both ways, that way. Then that's it. And then you can go with planning. So here you can activate MRP for your plant. You'll have to check this indicator for your plant. By doing this, the configuration settings will be completed. I'll just go 777C. See here, activation of MRP at plant level. Then the next thing that you should do is setting up of the planning file. As I told you, unless you set up the planning file, your system will not make entries for the materials in the planning file when you are doing inventory transactions. So you go and create a new variant, something like 777. Okay, you go with full screen. Okay, you go with attributes. Planning file entry variant. Alright, you go and save it. Okay, once you have created the variant, you have to run it. Start immediately. Okay, or you can just go with schedule so that it keep running. Schedule to run it periodically. You can go with the daily, weekly, whatever. Okay, and then you save it. Consistency check. So here also you should have your planning file 777. You create it. Okay, you go and choose it. For your plant 77C, go with the attributes, specify the name. Okay, you go and save it. Upon saving, you will see it over here. And then you start quickly run it, and also you can schedule periodically. Okay, that's it. Once you are done, define scope for planning. Total planning is not required. This is meant for PP module. Define creation indicator, which I've already defined. Your creation indicator for your plant and MRP group combination. Okay, this is your this thing. Rest of them I can delete it. Deletion is not there. No. So this is your indicator, creation indicator. MRP calculation. So let me stop it here. Okay, so let me stop it here, and then I will continue. Tomorrow we will try to complete the MRP. Okay, I think we have covered most of the MRP configurations. We will complete MRP tomorrow or day after. So at latest by Tuesday we will be completing MRP. Majority of the configurations have been done. I just have to explain you once again various types of error handling, and then the planning horizon once again, lot sizing, floats, all these things we have already defined it. Proposals also. I have to execute the demo, and then we will go with forecast based scheduling or planning, the second one. Okay, any questions? Radhika and Sundarao garu.
Okay, sir. No.
So we will have class tomorrow at 10 a.m. and regular time.
Sir.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.